The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Motivate change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. Hey, we growing, we know it.
You are still in shock. Some of you got your boat rocked. Some of you still finding it strange. Those of you in denial, there's a turn of the table. I'm telling you, the government changed. Stop pointing your finger at Mr. Owen Arthur. Stop criticizing the BLP crew. In the last election, the people made a decision. Mr. Thompson, all eyes on you. We don't expect you to build a highway overrun by cost overrun. Contractors in legal confusion wouldn't build our next prison. The government changed. The government changed. Every house that's built on the urban, we will find it here easily. And contracts for every employee will be free of hanky-panky. The government changed. The government changed. Mr. Thompson, don't change your tune. You promised to deliver. If you don't, that will spell your doom. We will cut the wire. Government change. The government change. So nobody on your payroll should try to give us a bogus poll. Government change. The government change. If your party start behaving strange, the government change. Hey! Barbados, come on! We are very resistant, although change is constant. Opportunities it can create. Look how a brilliant young lady now leads the BLP. Change has given her that mandate to lead the opposition along with the Calypsonians. She will keep check on the things you do. Issue now on the other foot. Over 14 years it took. Mr. Thompson, all eyes on you. If someone from our next party decide they can cross over, you must handle it carefully. Don't announce them as co-leaders. The government change. The government change. Hard would be the word to use to describe high cost of living. That's job number one to choose. Number two, we are not taking. The government change. The government change. Mr. Thompson, please keep open our windows to the sea. Cause for the average Bajan, the doors done closed already. Government change. The government change. Be careful how you privatize. Here we come in the Bajanize. Government change. The government change. If arrogance get into your veins, the government change. Ah! Hey! Hey! The general election was a revelation. Some things I heard really made me laugh. Money check, money on check. Money consultants used to get. The figures came out in the aftermath. But during the election, there was an allegation suggesting Taiwan had you tied too. But you choose your friends carefully. You're not about clique or company. Mr. Thompson, all eyes on you. The fella who stole the pigtails, they just say that he should get flogged. What we can do about them big ups who try to keep the whole hog? The government change. The government change. Want to get rich in a hurry, and they want it by hook or crook. And then they get so greedy. When we look, we ain't see no hope. The government change. The government change. The pros are cons and the cons are pros. Everything seems turned upside down. Mr. Thompson, the job is yours. So try to turn it around. Government change. The government change. That's a change and that is a fact. Look and see Sarah Nader was back. Government change. The government change. Your party so damn popular, Gabby may even cross back over. Government change, the government change. Yes, it changed and there is no doubt. It changed just like Admiral Mount. Government change, the government change. Yes, it changed and we all can see, but there will be no change in the monarchy. Government change, the government change. And when we're ready to rearrange, the Barbados, come on! Hey! Hey! Come on! Hey! Ah! Thank you!
Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, the world. How is everybody doing? I'm holding in my hand the national flag of Barbados, and you just heard the national anthem of Barbados, and that's because the Marcia Weekes Show is coming to you live from Barbados. You guessed it right. You guessed that right. Barbados. And we are excited tonight. We have an amazing show lined up for you. Great discussion tonight. Folks, red and not ready. Red and not ready. And we are going to show you in each instance, red and not ready. We're talking about workers. We're going to have Dr. Derek Alleyne is coming on at 8 o'clock tonight. And he's going to be talking to us all about labor issues. You all ready? Everybody out there, most of you are working, or you have worked at some time in your life. So we're going to talk about labor issues. We're going to talk about the public sector. And I know you have lots of concerns and comments about that. We're going to talk about water. Why is it we need another loan? We need to delve into that. We only touched it the other night. We're going to delve into it as a segment tonight. We're going to have that conversation. Yes. And we're going to look at what's happening in Dominica. IShowSpeed is here from also from the US, and that is causing a lot of the older people clutching their pearls. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Calm down. We're going to talk about that tonight. Yes. Oh boy. And so we're going to have a great night. We're going to talk about our pause and reflect. The pause and reflect that is happening tomorrow all across Barbados. We are speaking that into the atmosphere, that Barbados will pause and reflect. That is what is going to happen all throughout Barbados tomorrow. We're going to think about who we are as a people, our culture, everything. All right. That's what's happening tomorrow, because tomorrow is Heroes Day. It's Heroes Day. And we here on the Marcia Weekes Show, we're going to have this channel open up for you from 6 a.m. Right? So 6 a.m. you're going to get up with us, and there's prayer. Okay. And then throughout the day, we have a full program. We're going to go over the heroes, remind you of who the heroes are and what they've done for Barbados, etc. Then we're going to look at some of the heroes that they're not part of the 11, but they are heroes among us, right? And we're going to look at some of those people and give them their flowers. And we do have some speakers coming on to talk about where Barbados is going, who are we really, who are we, and really do some self introspection. I think is what's going to happen tomorrow. We have some music lined up for you. We have some Alfred Pragnell. We have everything Barbadian. We're going to put together for you tomorrow, because this is about us, about the people, about what makes us Barbadians. Okay. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to reflect on ourselves. Yes. Tomorrow we also focus on God, and let it just be a pause. Yeah. Go to the beach with your family, relax a little bit. You don't have to spend a lot of money to pause. Don't think that every time that you have to relax, you're going to have to spend a whole set of money. You can do simple things with your family, simple things with your loved ones. That makes sense. And because we're open, we will have the channel open for 12 hours. Doesn't mean that you have to keep it on. You might just want to shut off social media. But we're going to be here just to those who want to. At 12 o'clock, we have this time where we're just going to have moments of silence right here and on the Marcia Weekes Show. So we are practicing what we're preaching, is what I'm saying. And you will have some of everything here tomorrow. Okay. And you can use the comment chat to tell me. Oh boy, those are the bike men. You can use tomorrow's chat to tell me what you want to see, etc. And you can still comment and all of that. But we're gonna have a good time together tomorrow. All right. Now, let me just quickly go into the chat and just welcome everybody who has joined us. Teroni, good evening. How are you, Teroni? Good evening, Judith Gills. Good evening, Andrea. Good evening, Ronald Archer. How are you? Lucinda, good evening. Calendar, good evening. Good evening. How are you really doing? Marcia Miller, how are you? I hope that all is going well for you. Lori Bob. Hey, Lori. Hey, I trust all is going well for you. Shirley, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Annette, how are you? I'm a big girl. How are you doing? You're normally on for the prayer. I hope to see you tomorrow, God willing. Keitha Emmanuel. Hi. Oh, she can't wait to hear Dr. Alleyne. He's coming on at 8 o'clock. Shirley. Matthew B., how are you? Keep up the good work. Sir Alfred Benjamin. Good. Hi from New York, from Brooklyn. I am a big girl again. Beverly Perscott, Queen 246. How are you? I'm trusting that everybody, I'm wishing you the best, Sylvia Rock. I am wishing you the best, Joyanne and Charmaine Taylor. I really am wishing you the best. Sherry Berry, I'm wishing you all the best that there is. Yes, Izzy. Good evening, Izzy. How are you? Sonia. Sonia, why does it feel I haven't seen you in a little bit? Trevor Seeley, good night. Good night. Good night. Yes. Hey, Dan, good night. Margaret Pollard, good night. Hey, Cammy. Margaret Jilks. Marva Hunt. Hey, Cammy. Did I say Cammy? I saw you, Cammy, at the funeral. Dave Thorne's funeral. Oh man, and we've got to come back together again. We are going to do that on the 31st of May. We are going to take our excursion, an excursion to St. Peter. See, I know where it is now. St. Peter, Farley Hill, St. Peter. Cook up your food, put it on the bus, and we're going to go down and we're going to picnic. No, they said we're not to use that word, picnic. But we go excursion. We're going to put out our food. You can bring your small little table or whatever you want to do for you and your family and friends. And we're going to just, hope to get a big tent. Hopefully that we can be under and just have a great time. And, my guy Jason from from Spitestone, he's going to get a bus from Spitestone to go to Farley Hill as well. So we will meet up there, and where Jason is a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time at Farley Hill. And we're hearing from the bus people. And so I'm hoping that by Wednesday I'll have the exact amount for you. All right. So we finally heard back from them. All right. So let's see how that went. And somebody asked me how was my day. I had a great day, Taroni. I did have a great day today. Thank you for asking. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, folks, let's jump right into it. And we're on the radar. We have the segment on the radar. So we're going to see how many topics we can touch before the great feast before us, before Dr. Alleyne. Dr. Alleyne, I'm turning you into a pastor until Dr. Alleyne joins us. Remember, I told you last night that Glenn Murray is not going to be with us on the program for a couple of weeks. He has some personal and professional things that he's working on. And so he's not going to be able to join us. Thank you, Mavis. Thank you. And thank you so much for all your prayers. I can feel your prayers. Thank you. Last night was a big one. And so you know how it goes, but we're strong. All right. So you keep me in your prayers, and my husband and the entire crew, all of us who come on this program, you keep us in prayer. Now, have you liked and have you shared yet? Have you liked? Have you shared? Remember, I do my part. I prepare and I come on and I produce and do that, and then you do the sharing, you do the liking, you do the subscribing. That's the only way that we're able to get it done, right? So let's make that happen, guys. Stop for a moment, like the program. Please do like it and share it in your chats. Share it in your WhatsApp chats, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. It is a joy. It is a joy. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling tired and drained. Once I flick on this computer, turn on the microphone, and I come on and I see your comments. Sometimes when the opening song is playing, I'm reading your comments and the smile is appearing on my face because it is indeed a joy. And we do this from our hearts. We serve from our hearts. And that's all of us who come on here. Dr. Ferdinand, every one of us. This is volunteer. We volunteer for this, okay? This is important to us. But we're going to talk about Dominica. Now, how many of you remembered that we had some guests on the program from Dominica? How many of you remember that? We had some guests on the program from Dominica, young people, and they were they engineers? I think they were engineers. Somebody tell me who they were. And they were talking to us about the excavation that was happening in Dominica and the possibility of flooding, and they're concerned about the environment and what could happen, if they have a lot of rains, and they were concerned about the Kalinago, did I say that right? Kalinago area, the Kalinago area. Yes. Yes. Good. So we were, but how many of you been following? I don't know if Dave can start to put up. Dave, you have anything you can put up of the flooding in Dominica? Yes, Miss McLean, we miss her as well. She is also busy doing a work, and so she's not here right now, but she's going to join us very soon. Okay, so this is Dominica presently, folks. This is Dominica presently. Tonight on the radar, folks, we're focusing on Dominica. Heavy rains have hit Dominica, and within hours, I spoke with one of those engineers in Dominica today. They told me that the rain just came suddenly yesterday, and it just rained heavily and continuously. Within hours, homes shifted. You saw that. Homes shifted. Communities flooded. How many of you have been watching what's going on there? Roads blocked by landslides. Entire areas are without power. Even up to this evening, I spoke to them about an hour and a half ago, and they have no power in the Kalinago area. Okay, and not just the Kalinago area, but the surrounding areas like Marigo, etc. But the most severe impact, the Kalinago territory and the surrounding communities. And now, people, a deeper question is really what we need to be asking. And when I saw those pictures on social media, I could not help but think about the interview that we had about this excavation that is happening. And the excavation is being done by the Chinese in order to complete the airport. Are we seeing a natural disaster here? Or is this a warning about how vulnerable these communities have become? Now, this is what we know. We know that a trough system on April 26 triggered intense rainfall. That's what we know. These are the facts of what we know. Severe flooding and landslides have hit the east and northeast of Dominica. Anybody from Dominica in the chat? If you know Dominicans, please send this this live to them, and let's see if they can let us know what is happening right now. The areas impacted: Kalinaga territory, Atkinson, Castle Bruce, and Marigot. Homes were damaged, shifted, or flooded. One of the gentlemen who was on the show, I mean, I was told he is just, he was there bailing out water out of his home. Roads became impassable due to landslides. Electricity and utilities were disrupted. Emergency shelters, as you would imagine, were activated especially in Atkinson and the Kalinago territory. Especially Atkinson, multiple homes were affected, and quite a number of persons were displaced. Now, my source have confirmed this evening that this is what they said. What they said, that the rivers overflowed, cutting off access to communities. People had to walk in and out due to blocked roads, so they can't drive. Right now, up until when we spoke an hour and a half ago, they could not drive into these territories, into these areas, and they still didn't have electricity. I asked about the response of the government, and I was told they didn't know what response was there from the government, but the community itself is, they've put together a grassroots response where they're helping neighbors, they're cutting down trees, they're making the roads, clear again, right? But folks, this is the context, though. The context that we have to examine the context. This that is happening is not happening in isolation, right? There have been recent tensions and concerns, as I said at the start of the program, about land excavation in and near the Kalinago territory. Reports that this foreign-backed development activity is happening. And we saw where the community was pushing back and calling for caution, right? I must say that the excavation, that they were able to get a stop order is currently in place. So they have not been able to excavate that land anymore, right? And so the large plans that they had to excavate over 100 acres, as we had discussed in our program. They are at the moment there's a stop order, so they've not been able to carry it out, right? Now, let me just say this clearly. In all honesty, I can't say that there's a confirmed that there's confirmed evidence that the excavation is causing the flooding, right? I want to say that, but the concern is the risk amplification of that excavation, and that is what we discussed this evening on the phone with my source there. The risk amplification, and this is what those young people were talking to us about on the show. And one of the things they talked about was science and history. Who remembered that? Okay. Science and history show us that when you disturb the soil, what is going to happen? There's an increased landslide risk when you disturb the soil. And I hope that Barbados is listening, because a lot of times we believe that, these foreign developers are coming and we just put everything, we give them everything. We're not thinking about the residents in the communities surrounding wherever the development is happening. But we're going to go and we're going to do everything that we allow them. Once the teaching is good, Ching, the money is good. We allow them to come in and they basically are given, to just do what you want to do. They disturb the soil, and disturbed soil, history and science say to us, increase landslide risk. Remove the vegetation. When you remove the vegetation, what's going to happen? The slope. What's going to happen to the slopes? We're going to reduce slope stability. We don't have a lot of slopes in Barbados, right? You alter drainage. We know that. And that is one of the things that we were saying concerning Whole Town. What is going to happen to drainage? And we've seen it even on the street that we live here. They start to develop a certain area. They put up these walls, and all of a sudden, what happens? The street floods. You now have faster runoff and you have flooding because you've now blocked where the water, would normally flow. You've altered the drainage. So the real question is, Dominica, if this level of damage happened from one rainfall event, tell me, what happens if large-scale excavation continues? We know it stopped right now. But can you imagine if this continues? Can you imagine if the people in Dominica did not rise up and say, absolutely not, no more excavation in the Kalinago territory? We don't know. As I said, I can't confirm that it's connected, but history and science tell us a few things, Now, I want us to extend this to the Caribbean, right? Because we are being told about, these extreme rainfall events that are coming up. We're getting into hurricane season, lots of rain. We're supposed to have more intense weather cycles, whether you believe those things or not. This is what they say. And I think we've got to be careful. And we need to ask some questions tonight throughout the Caribbean, because this is not just happening in Dominica. We're seeing it in St. Kitts. We're seeing it in Barbados, where we live here. Yes, where they are all along the coast. We don't know how that is going to affect us. Are vulnerable communities being protected from high-risk development in Dominica and throughout the region? Or are we going to wait until something happens? Are we doing proper environmental impact assessments throughout the region when we bring in these foreign developers? Or it is that, this colonial mindset that we have, they come in, they're foreigners, and we just let them do what they want to do. Who approved excavation near this sensitive terrain? We were asking that question when they were on. And in places like Dominica, what about indigenous lands? Are they properly protected, adequately protected? And the big question is this: all throughout the Caribbean, are we learning or are we repeating the same mistakes? Are we putting development over people? Are we, where's the people in all of this? Are we putting development over people? Now, whenever we have this kind of show, somebody, they say, oh, but you seem like you're blaming development. No, we're talking about consequences. consequences. We need planning and development in Barbados, and the similar government offices and in the other countries, and government arms in the other countries, and departments in the other countries with a similar portfolio. We are saying to you, make sure that you have done the environmental assessments, you have considered those who have lived in the community, you have considered the people. So it's not against development, but it has to be some kind of balance. When the land shifts, like Dominica, what happened? It's not theory. It is people's homes affected, people's livelihoods, people's lives. And I'm really hoping that those from Barbados, the government, as I know you watch the show. Thank you for watching, government. Give the government a thumbs up. Those that they have taken notes tonight, I know they're here. They're taking notes. We're saying, and this is right across the entire Caribbean, Jamaica, where they're having this these developments, like this thing running out of style. Everybody's doing it. Huh? Look at this. This is, yeah, look at what's happening. Let me read some of your comments here. I'm a big girl says money make the mayor fly. You're right. Yeah. Right. No, there's no loss of life. Thank God. No loss of life. Anybody from Dominica in the chat? Somebody asking if it's seed clouding again. They keep messing with us, huh? Yeah. Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing. They cause it out of their greed. Greed. Look at this, out of their greed. And they know of this possibility in a place like Dominica, and they still go and they disturb the soil. I am so glad that Dominicans stood up. Here it is again, people power again, folks. Dominicans stood up, and there's a stop order. There is a stop order on the excavation. Mystic Angel says soil erosion, habitat loss, rapid degradation, I think she's saying. Yeah. And this is what you know, the senator that was fired was saying. There's flooding in whole town. You know, there's flooding. What are we going to do when you put a 9-story hotel there? What's going to happen to us, the people? Sonia said it's not the rainy season. It's not. I mean, they said it just came out of nowhere. So let's say a prayer tonight before you go to bed on behalf of the people of Dominica. Okay? All right. I know I spent a little time on them there because, you know, they are part of us. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about IShowSpeed. How many of you saw those? That saw the footage? You know who IShowSpeed? I don't think anybody on here know who IShowSpeed is. He's in the Caribbean, and he started his tour in Trinidad. How many of you saw that? And I know my phone was going today. Yes, he's a streamer. Thank you. He's a streamer. Yes, he did wrestling, I think. Is wrestling? Yes, Mystic Angel knows. Yes, yeah. So we're gonna go into, because some of you don't know. But Dave, before I go, just show them a little bit of him in Barbados. All right, and so you get an idea before we start. So this is him in Barbados. He was in Trinidad and he was in Grenada, and and he came into Barbados today. All right, so Dave, show a little bit, please. Go ahead. We can't show too much, you see, because it's not my material and I might get in trouble.
Wow.
All right, Dave, stop. Hold it there. Somebody said, Marva says, I don't know him, but I was surprised at the response. And that's the point I want to make tonight, okay? His demographic is young people, teenagers who are gamers. Correct. And this is the thing about it, you know, that it's so important that we stay connected to what's happening to our young people and what's going on. And as you know, I try to stay with them. I try to stay with them. And I've been following this young man now for a couple of years, I would say about 2 years or so. And through young people, including my son, my youngest son, told me about him, told me about all the streamers and the gamers, and he would bring me. And it's good to have that kind of conversation with your children, to know what they're watching, why are they on their device so much, what is it that they're watching. And so, yes, Kim Tae, yes, exactly. When my son was about, I could be 18 years old or 17, he told me about him. And are probably younger than that, actually. And so Kai Sanat and all of these people. And people are wondering, you know, okay, but so let me just, your 10-year-old, not your 19-year-old. all of them, they know, whether the 10, 19, the young people, they know about him, okay? And so he is reaching a particular demographic, all right? And I think it's important that, so we wanted to first establish that, all right? Because I think that it's important. It's important that we do that, all right? And because I'm hearing, you know, people saying, you know, what people running after him in the street, and people are this. You remember in your time, Michael Jackson. How many of you used to go crazy over Michael Jackson? Who used to go crazy over Michael Jackson? Huh? I know a lot of you. You used to even wear the jacket down here in the hot sun, right? You have on the Michael Jackson. You remember the Michael Jackson jacket with the zipper? You remember? And everybody had the hair, you know, like Michael Jackson, and all you know, what, the Jerry curl, right? So you know, and our parents will be wondering, what is wrong with these young people? Well, it's the same thing that is happening, right? You know, so IShowSpeed is a global streamer. And what is interesting about him, I will say, is that this young man is 21 years old, and he's black. He's black like you and I. And wherever he goes, this is a kind of response. He is one of the, I think, probably number one streamer in the entire world. When he goes on, when he goes for a live, he has millions of young people watching. When he went to Africa, how many of you saw when he went to Africa? When he went to Africa, I sat down and I watched those. I watched his interaction in Africa. Very authentic. Very authentic. You know, he's not going there as just a tourist. He is he indulges himself or engulfs himself into the culture of Africa. And I heard young people who would normally say to me, "Man, I don't want to go to Africa." After IShowSpeed was in Africa, came to me and said, "You know what? I want to go to Africa now." Yes. There were, after he showed all what he was doing all throughout Africa, there were people, young people making reaction videos and crying. They're crying because they're saying, "But we thought, we didn't realize Africa was like that." And you might say, "But they should know the internet is there." Remember that a lot of times we end up watching, you know, the algorithm gives us what we like to watch. So a lot of them don't know that Africa is very modern, and Africa, lots of parts in Africa is just so beautiful and the people are wonderful and the food is great. They don't know that. And there were Black American children, Black children crying, watching IShowSpeed in Africa. So I was, when I heard he was coming to the Caribbean, I thought it was a great idea. And, you know, did you all see him in Trinidad? As I said, what I like about him is how he engrosses himself. He goes right into the culture. Crowds running through the streets. Traffic is disrupted. Well, I didn't see any police escorts, and I checked with Trinidad. You know, I like to call around and check. And as far as I'm told, there weren't any police escorts in Trinidad. Didn't seem like there was any in Grenada as well, but there were police escorts in Barbados. You could actually hear the police sirens. I'm not sure why they had them here, right? Lots of luxury vehicles, you know. For some it's excitement, and for others it's a serious question. Who is paying for this and why? Why are we having this? And here in Barbados, how many of you, let me check the comment section. How many of you were asking, why are we having this in Barbados? Yeah. So how many of you saw him in Trinidad? Yeah. Who is paying for this and why? You know, and I think that is what a lot of people are asking. You know, we're facing real economic pressure, and, you know, so some people are asking, is this exposure or is this excess? Is this a bit too much? I don't know. He arrives in Barbados as part of his Caribbean travel content. So remember, he is a content maker. All right. He has his own stream. He's making content. And we saw large crowds form quickly. And on his stream, sometimes he has, 53 million people. Just with the comment section, you can't even read it, you know. It's going so quickly. You're talking about millions, right? Now, about the funding, this is what I found out, folks, because, you know, we got to make sure we're talking truth. When IShowSpeed travels, three things usually happen. I found out. One, he funds his own trips through streaming revenue. That sometimes happens. Sometimes he funds his own trips through streaming revenue because he makes a lot of money. There's a little Black boy, 21 years old. I'm so excited for him. He makes a lot of money through streaming. He may have private sponsors or brand deals. You will see how he's pushing Kentucky. Do you see that? KFC, KFC, KFC. The boy isn't foolish, right? Sometimes governments, they provide security, or they provide some kind of assistance. When I spoke with Trinidad, they're saying they believe the government provided some kind of assistance to him because of Trinidad's, especially Trinidad's, so far was very well organized. Not that Barbados wasn't, but I'm saying the depth of what they did in Trinidad. It was the first, obviously. They probably wanted to make it even grand, really, really grand. Barbados was great as well, and so was Grenada's. So the real issue is not assumptions. We don't want to make assumptions. We're asking for transparency. Was he invited officially, or this is part of his regular tour? Did he do it as, when he went to Africa? Is it part of his regular tour? Did he get a payment for it, a contract or a payment? And why did we have police escorts in Barbados? Why were the resources used that way? Did it cost taxpayers anything? Was it a lot, or just to subsidize what he's doing? Yeah. Now let's look at some of the possible benefits. The obvious one is global exposure for Barbados, right? Global exposure. I am telling you, the numbers of people and the demographic. These are people who will tell you, young people who will probably tell you that, where is Barbados? In Jamaica, right? The tourism visibility, the youth engagement. Now, the concern is, did we misuse our limited resources that we have here in Barbados? Is this bad timing? Some people believe it's bad timing because of the national challenges that we're going through. So we have to weigh the benefit, the costs and the benefits. We have to weigh it. I think one of the things, and even IShowSpeed was surprised at, was how school was disrupted for this, right? School was disrupted for this. And I don't know. I'm not even, he kept saying, what? He's never seen this many children, out of school. And one little boy said, we want to keep following. And he said, go back to school, go to school, And I thought that was very responsible of him. I'm not sure why this was done. The school, I'm not, that part, I really am not comfortable with that. I know in Trinidad that he went there on a Saturday. All right, he went there on a Saturday. So it was to protect him from the gun bullets. Wow, they probably said, no, we don't want that happening. So, and you saw Chefette got in on the do, because Charmaine Taylor, you're correct, because he's been pushing Kentucky, and then they took him to Chefette, and then he bought for, I think, 150 persons he bought Chefette for. All right. So something happened there with him, probably with him and Chefette. I don't know, but he's been pushing KFC a lot. Yeah. So, so there are questions. So we have to look at the cost, and the benefits, right? Did the government of Barbados pay IShowSpeed to visit? If not, who invited him and facilitated his trip? And you see, this is part of what we are saying, is that when we are open with the public and we let the public know what is happening, I think that people are better able to understand. They might not agree, but okay, that's what it is, And I know, as I said earlier, a lot of you would not necessarily understand what is happening. People running behind people on the street and all of this commotion, etc. Because it's not meant for our demographics. Actually, I was hoping I could have gone down with my camera to be able to capture it. As an artist, you could tell he's very well rounded. He's athletic. He's seemed to be very, can play instruments, and he's able to connect with cultures, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's a bit wild sometimes. We saw how he jumped over the chef at counter, and it was no KFC, and we saw the guard there. The guard, I think the guard of Shepherd let him know not about here. You understand? So he is a bit wild, and that's part of his brand. That he's wild and so on. And so you do have to look at that as well, because it's a matter of what is it that we are presenting to our young people. Who are these role models? I still am not too keen. I'm not too sure about the school part of it. I thought that it should have happened naturally, as it did in the other islands so far. In the other islands, I mean, he went to Grenada on a Sunday, and he went to Trinidad on a Saturday. I know we now have to see what happens to the other islands, but I don't know how I feel about the students. I think we have to be careful there. I'm not sure, but all I'm saying is this: what would you have done if Michael Jackson was coming? Yeah. Right? If Michael Jackson was in your day, it was Michael Jackson, some of you will be screaming and screaming. You know that too. So it's not for us. Kim Tae knows all about it, because Kim Tae has a young child, right? I'm around young people. I know. So what are the two islands he's doing tomorrow? What are the two islands he's doing? Marva Hunt is saying, how come parents ain't complain about the disruptions of school this time as they do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like that. Yeah, and what was his message to the students who were excited to see him? Yeah, I'm not sure what the message was, to be honest, Speedway. Can somebody tell me? I didn't see any message. And somebody said that is saying here that he was the illegal riding outside the vehicle. Where was the police? The police was escorting him, and he was hanging outside of a moving vehicle. What was his advice to the young people? Yeah, good point there. I know that at Chefette, when the children said at KFC that we're following you, we're coming with you, and they said and he said, go to school, why aren't you in school? And I know that that was the third comment he made about school children. I think he too was surprised that he was able to disrupt school. And I don't know how that is. I really don't know. I don't know. Yes, he's going to send kids later this week. Yes. It would be so good if he had come in and talk about violence and, something like that, or something. I don't know, but I guess his role, it's all about tourism and promoting the country. That was all that they wanted out of it. It was so great to see if he's able to, have them talk about these other things when they go to places like Jamaica and so on. Put a little bit more meaning to the trip. But what one of the things that he does, he shows an appreciation for culture. And I think our young people, that's a fantastic message to the young people. He was playing road tennis. He was drumming. He was eating sugar cakes. He was eating, learning how to bone a fish. He was at Oystins. he was doing, I mean, I think it was 4 or 5 hours in Barbados, and he was doing a little bit of everything, you know. Some of it was a bit rowdy, yes, I agree, and it should not be hanging out. Yeah, and Chad Blackman. I mean, is that somewhere that when you looked at the Trinidad one, go back and look at the Trinidad, you don't see, from what I saw, you didn't see anybody from the government there. It was just young people, right? And this guy, and they were showing him around, and it seems so natural. Why they had to have the Minister of Education there? What is education? What is the education here going on here? You know, this is the kind of thing. Oh Lord, I tell you. Yeah, you know, I mean, sometimes with somebody like him that the children are going for so much, you know, love him so much, it would be good to have shown a little something, you know, about give some lessons, and you know, that would be great that that is done. Do you know, did you, a fun fact here, guys, do you know that Kim Tae and others who are into this, you have young children like myself, um not young children because mine, I don't have any teenagers anymore, but do you know that a couple years ago the top streamers were all white? How many of you know that? This young man here, you see, this is one of the things that when I watch him, I am so proud of him. I am so proud of him. And all these young people need is the right adults around them to help to you know, bring give them something, what they're doing, to elevate it and bring some substance to it, right? But I'm saying that the top streamers, were white for a long time, because my son would show me them, they were white. And all of a sudden, you know, have Kai Cenat and you have this guy, IShowSpeed. And they have taken over, folks. And that in itself is powerful. But you know, one of the things that's happening, some of these Caribbean islands, including Barbados, our young people with the same talent as IShowSpeed will not be able to make any money from streaming, because our governments have not put anything in place for them to monetize their streaming. Okay? To monetize, nothing's been put to play. Guys, you see how many people on? 53 million people. And you talk, look on my screen, look up to the right of my screen. That is what this young black 21-year-old boy, that's what is happening. He's not singing. He's not doing, just streaming and being crazy. He's saying, and that's what the streamers do. They're crazy. They're wild. But these black boys are taking over streaming. Kai Cenat very, very, I think, you know, Kim, that I think Kai Cenat is even more grounded. And to me, you know, he will bring, you know, it's still wild. They're all wild, but he brings good messages, you know, and so on. So look at him here playing road tennis. And I am telling you, if you're not proud of this, where in the world do you think anybody else, apart from a few little persons out of Barbados, know anything about road tennis? What, road tennis? They're like, what? He doesn't know how to play that. They're teaching him road tennis. Marva, I agree. Yes, they could. Oh, his mother is a Trini, Kai Cenat. Ah, okay, interesting. Yes, he probably could have talked to them about building their self-esteem, etc. But in order for any 21-year-old young man in Barbados to be able to do what IShowSpeed is doing. It's not possible because we do not have the infrastructure. We do not. I'm not saying, doctor. We're here waiting on Doctor. We're bringing. We're waiting on Doctor. Alleyne. I don't know, Dave, if you can check on him for me. Alleyne. Dr. Alleyne. We're yeah. So, I think that there is I'm happy that these are Black guys and they're making millions. And I love that. I have no problem with them making millions. It's time for them to make millions now. He's a young boy that is not behind bars. He's not, as far as we know, he's not strung out on drugs. He is very athletic. He can play the instruments. He can connect with people. Eric, you came late. He's a streamer from the US. He's a global streamer, and who has showcased Africa in, powerful ways, and is here in the Caribbean seeking to do the same thing and trying to be authentic, and it's great. But he's a bit wild, I must say. He jumped on the KFC counter. And I was happy, man. That manager came around and said, no, don't jump back over. You could be IShowSpeed or whoever. Don't jump back over this counter. She was and he's meeting with it. The children love him, and so on. So yeah, he's doing something positive. It could be better, I think. Or whoever invited him, or even if he invited himself, or whoever arranged it, it could be better in terms of making it a little bit more pointed, not boring, but pointed. Where but I think all in all, it's a good look. He's not doing something negative, and I was concerned as well with the hanging out of the vehicles. I thought, oh my Lord, when I saw him in Trinidad, I was like, oh goodness, right? Yeah, yeah. I'm just reading my phone here. I'm not seeing Derek, Alleyne, anybody, Dave? What are your views on him, guys? What are your views? Wow, he's cane, he's looking at the sugar cane. I am sure this is the first he's seen this in his life. And this is what his ancestors, that were doing. And he has no idea what this is. He's mesmerized by it. Now, this is authentic kind of, yeah. Yeah, he never seen that in his life, y'all. Over 53 million people, they're watching it as it was going on. 53 million subscribers and comments. Look at him trying to eat that cane. Look at him trying to eat the cane. Look at he doesn't know how to eat the cane. He doesn't know how to eat the cane. But this is what we're talking about here. That's Black energy. I love the fact that he's here from America and he's not up in a hotel and eating hotel food, but he's connecting with the people. He's learning something. He's learning something, and he's interacting with us. He's young. He's still young. You're right. He's still young. And that's why I said that with some guidance, I think He has no idea how to eat the cane. Oh, wow. Ah. Oh my gosh. I hope I don't get a strike for looking at this. Oh, Lordy. Yes, and that's the cane juice. They're showing him the cane juice there. Boy, that's your ancestors. Your ancestors used to do that. You have no idea. Eh? No idea. He's drinking the cane juice now. He's drinking the cane juice. That is awesome. Now that is great. That is great. And he is having that experience. Yes, it's a cultural thing that is happening there. Look at somebody with a Guyana flag. Move the Guyana flag. It's not Guyana, it's Barbados. And, you would find more older people want to get this experience. But when you have a 21-year-old that's doing it, then it's going to cause the young people to think that this is cool. You see? They're going to think that this is so cool. Yes, and they're taking pictures with him. I even saw RPB was with him. Did you all see RPB playing dominoes? He was also learning to play dominoes with RPB. I'm talking and waiting on Derek. Yeah. He's at Chefette now, which he can't pronounce. Well, I tell you, the people will know that there's not just KFC, but there's Chefette because he's been pushing KFC all along. So it's all part of it, guys. And he's 20. Remember his demographic. He is not for you. All right? He is not for you, and that's it. That's it there with his body out and so on. Well, at least here he's in the car here in Trinidad. He was sitting on top of the car. And that's the running that happens. They start to run behind the vehicle. All of that happens, and I think overall it's good. I just didn't like the school business, but no, he runs, so here is he gonna race a horse. That's kind of craziness that happens. He's gonna race his horse. So he's warming up to go race a horse. Right? Look at us here watching IShowSpeed. You can tell I love young people, to be honest. And I just think they just need to be guided. That's it. And I'm happy that he's making millions. He and Kai Cenat, they are leading the streaming and gamers. I think that wasn't President Trump and Kai Cenat? Somebody tells me that. Didn't President Trump's son told him to go to the streamers because they had the biggest audience. They had the biggest audience. Look at him trying to race the horse. He knows he's going to lose, but he's making content. Right? But this is awesome. He did not beat the horse. Everywhere he goes, people are just following him. Young teeny boppers, children. They're giving him a snow cone now. Look, he's getting a snow cone. They have a snow cone for him. They're trying to give him a snow cone. Well, Yes, the chat tells him what they want him to do, right? And they do crazy things. And sometimes, thank God nobody was hurt in the whole thing, and I'm hoping that Barbados does get, you know, some benefit from it. And I really do hope that it is a positive, something positive for the young people in the country. I really hope so, that it is a positive thing. And he's going, it's not just Barbados alone, he's going as he did in Africa. He is going all about, you know, and I really do hope that, yes, the horse, obviously the horse beat him at it, but that's just what they do. In Grenada, he was doing hurdles and shot puts and all of those different things because, you know, it's very athletic. And yeah, so there you go again. He's back. He's now on top of the vehicle, which he should not be. And so those in authority should have let him know that. You know, yeah. And he's out into the sea. He is just, and he was amazed at the water, how blue our water is. He just could not believe how blue the water was, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Well, folks, as we're waiting for Dr. Alleyne, let's start to talk about some water. Or you want to watch a little bit more of him? You can do it on your own. I hope I don't get any issues for doing this. Let's talk about water. Okay, let's talk about water and how much money was borrowed for water before. Now, we're hearing that the government is planning, well, they just got borrowed 80 million. Did you all know that? If you knew that, give me a thumbs up. Let's do this thing together. Yeah. Thank God I had some other material prepared, okay? How many of you know how much money has Barbados borrowed for water before? Write it in the chat. We just saw last week $80 million, right, being borrowed for water. They told us it's a water. We're gonna look at that. How much has been borrowed for water before? Who knows? Before I start, I want to hear from you. How many of you know? And if you don't know, take the notes tonight. And if I miss something, please tell me what I'm missing. Yeah? Anybody out there knows? Oh. Right? Anybody out there knows? Somebody say enough. Somebody say 110 million. Anybody else? So that was a little enjoyment with IShowSpeed. Let's come back now to our issues here. Yeah? No? Nobody else? Some Kim Tay says enough. Well, that was the last bit that we heard was 80 million. 80 million was the last bit that we heard. Okay, the last amount that we heard. But don't let them fool you. Remember, we talk about that $3 bill, which we're going to put that up again tonight, all right? Because I'm telling you. Now, In 2025, we heard about $80 million, which is really part of a $200 million US dollar facility that we're getting, right? So it's not that 80 million, it's not a one-off. Did you all know that? The 80 million, the US 80 million, and somebody asked if it was US. I would like for you to take notes as we are going along. Can you? Miss McLean, we miss you. I know she's watching. All right. The US $80 million is what we just learned about. Okay. But part of a wider, there is a $200 million facility. So basically, we have another $120 million from that part, that particular loan. You following? Good. So in essence, it's $200 million. You know, we just said we get an 80 million in the first phase. Now there was a climate water project, and Teroni, you're right, 110 million US dollars. So the total project. You remember that? It was an investment in the reuse and sewage upgrade. 110 million. So who counting? So we have 200 and then you have 110, right? This was in between 2024 to 2025. 40 million came from the IDB, 30 million from GCF, and plus other grants and so on and so forth. We were up to $110 million US dollars. US. Okay? So put US beside it. All right? Put it in your phone if you don't have anything to write on. Because it's our, listen, we have to pay this back, you know. So we have to keep track. Because what we, at the end of this, we want to know, what have you done with this? Then there was the debt for climate water financing. Remember that? US, this even in US, you know, they are something else. Oh my God. 300 million US dollars. US $300 million for water infrastructure financing, debt for climate water financing, $300 million. Then we had some smaller projects, right? Was 10 million for water rehabilitation loan, right, by CAF, right? 10 million. Then there's a 12 million EIB loan. Am I going too fast? 28 million for a CDB project. Folks, wait, let me see if I get my phone. I didn't add this up before the show, but I'm going to add it up right now. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Tied to the water. And I know the government watching me. I know you're watching me. Hi, government. Hi, those that have been assigned to me. Good night. How are you? Plus 110. I'm adding up. I'm adding up the money that you're borrowing, government. 300 plus 10 plus 12 plus 28. $740 million of water. Let me do it again because I don't, anybody has got that? 80 million? No, we don't count the 80 because the 80 is in the 200 is in the 80 is in the 200. So 200. Okay. Yes, because I want to be accurate. 110. Yes, plus another 300 million. I'm going good. Plus 10, plus 12 million, plus 28. Okay. So 200 million plus 110 plus 300 plus 10 plus 12 plus 20. Okay, so it's 660 million. I was adding something twice. And we don't want to tell any lies on the government. 660, oh God, US dollars, US. Oh goodness. Huh? Folks, all of this, so water, you know, huh? My goodness, 660 million US dollars. Hundreds of millions of US dollars tied to water over time. Have you seen this money? Have you seen anything, the money being used? You seeing anything, guys? My God. Wow. 660 million US dollars. Have you seen any improvements? What are they doing? That is crazy. So when we saw the $80 million and she held it up and, you know, excited, that is what we didn't see, we don't remember, because we don't remember. And that's what this show does. It's going to keep on reminding you. You must not forget, it's your money, because you're going to have to pay it back. Yeah. Now, this is why we were told that we were getting, so let's look at the issues that we have with water. Right? The last loan we saw was $80 million US, and they told us that this is to fix our water system, right? But you and I know, we just did the math. It's not the first time that the money has been borrowed for water. Yes? And if you go to the bank, or you have a rich friend, and that friend, you know, they like you a lot, and you say, listen, I'm building my house, and I just need to borrow some money to put in the windows, right? And you come back again and you say you want some more to put in the windows, and you keep coming back and want money to put in the windows. After a time, you're going to wonder, hold a minute, what's wrong with that person? So this is not the first time the money has been borrowed for water. So the question is, are we fixing the problem, or are we funding the same problem again? What's happening here? I want to hear from you. Folks, something, these people and money, this government and money, oh my God, they're like, it's like bees and honey. The bees, the bees go to the money. The bees and the honey, the bees and the money, the bees and the money. Listen, I'm rhyming, you know, I'm a rapper. The bees and the money. That's what it's looking like to me here, right? Now, based on what was said in the newspaper when they got this last 80 million US, nearly 50% of water is lost through leaks. I remember being on the show, and I believe it was Rose Corbin and Mr. Franklin was explaining that to us. 50% of the water is lost through leaks in the pipes. So half of the water we produce never reaches the people. How efficient is that? How efficient is that? That sounds to me like we are in crisis. It's a system that is in crisis. So we are borrowing money to fix the pipes that should have been fixed years ago. We are borrowing money because we did not maintain the pipes. Maintenance was delayed. We're borrowing money because systems failed. So $660 million have been borrowed for water infrastructure. What exactly was delivered with those funds? To those of you from the government you're watching, don't you think the people should know? Don't you think this is something that the people should know? What exactly have you done with the $660 million? I know you didn't get all of it in your hand yet, especially this last with the 80 million. You got 80 million, you have another 120 from that set to get. But what about the others? What have you done with it? Why are we still losing half of our water? Huh? Who is the minister in charge of water? Because it changes. I don't remember. I remember one time it was Santia Bradshaw, and then I think it was the prime minister. Who is the minister in charge of water? Can somebody let me know? And here's a big question. Without an opposition, without a voice like a Mr. Thorne in Parliament, who is tracking this project publicly? It's a lot of money. $660 million US. That's a lot of money. Who is tracking this water project? We're talking here, this is just madness. These people are just doing exactly what they want. They are just doing as they like. It's a free for all. Let's just spend money. It's like money. They just spend money. And who's supposed to repay these loans? Are we then going to have higher water bills? Is it higher water bills, higher taxes, or more borrowing? You know, we're part of this Ponzi scheme. We borrow and then we borrow to pay back. No, we know that water, investment in water is necessary, you know. That's not the issue. Is Kirk Humphrey? But Stephen King, you're talking about $80 million. We're talking about $660 million. And let the government come and tell us that it's wrong. This is what is out there. This is what is out there coming from their documents. So come and tell us we're wrong. Tell us we're wrong. $660 million US. they're going to keep borrowing to pay back. Investment in the water is necessary, and I just spent another 5 minutes on that. I can see Mr. Dr. Derek Alleyne is in, and so I'll give him 5 minutes to settle, and we just close this up. And we have to come back to this. We need this. Somebody needs to be tracking this. Who is going to track this money? We know the system has to be fixed. But if we do not track how this money is spent, the reality is, my fellow Bajans, is that we're not fixing the system. We're basically financing the failure, because we're seeing that it is still the same way. We're still losing 50% of our water. Why were the mains allowed to reach over 100 years old without maintaining them? Why are we always being reactive? Acting when crisis hits. If we were planning properly, if we would not, and this is for both governments, we would not be losing 50% of our water. It's not what I say, it's what they said. And the big question is, who pays the price in the end? When the loans are signed and the speeches are done, who is paying it? Who's going to pay the price for this? Because it seems like we just keep moving another chapter in this cycle, and this is a very expensive cycle. $660 million. Wow. We need a water series. We need to do a series on water. Don't you all? That's why we're doing Carifesta. We need to do a digging into water. Yeah. All right. Well, I think Dr. Alleyne is ready. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready, sir. Aye. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me get his banner up, because we ready. And he's going to talk to us about labor issues tonight. And Dr. Derek Alleyne, thank you for joining us, sir. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Let me apologize for coming on late. I know last week I was on for 8:30, so and my brain told me 8:30. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I think that's what happened. I thought so. But we got some other things done, and we will make sure we'll go over a little bit, so that we will have the call-in guys at 9:30. And so we want to give Mr. Dr. Alleyne the full time. All right, so everybody, like and share. Just go ahead and do that. Let me give you some time to get yourselves together, run to the go and get something from the fridge and get ready, guys.
I just want to say that I think I sent you a little note this week complimenting you for your
Lordy, you're gonna say it on here now. Don't let me cry.
No, I told you you don't know what contribution you have been making. You made a lot of difference, and no matter what people say, your presence over the last 4 or 5 years has been significant. All over the Commonwealth, your name is mentioned as a social engineer who's been trying to change the narrative and trying to change the focus of Barbadians. I heard you questioning the money spent on water. This government does not have a record of answering questions. They spend, and they believe that once they get the outcome at the election, they are free to do what they like. They can spend taxpayers' money go back to Parliament and vote for more money, and then turn around and beg for reparations and beg for long-term payment arrangements. The Prime Minister is now asking for 40 and 50-year loans. That means in her lifetime, she don't intend to pay about nothing. And it's clear to me that there's no level of responsibility in terms of the borrowing. And then when you go down to St. Lucie, St. Peter, into St. George now, the water problems have become worse. And now you said 600 million US?
660 million that over since they've been in government that they have borrowed.
You know, and I keep reminding Barbadians that in 2008, when the last government came to office, the people in St. John and St. Philip were not getting water because of the prison. When the prison turned on the pipes in the morning at 6 o'clock, they prepared the prisoners for the baths and so on. The people in Moncrief and going up towards the law school and things couldn't get water. And the government ran pipe mains from all the way down in Ballantines and so on to ensure. And it certainly didn't cost $660 million. But Barbadians don't want to remember, because it seems to me that all Barbadians are concerned about is the garbage that this government puts out. I'm sorry. I can't be anything different but honest. And I have lost all of respect for this government. I mean, the little bit I had for some of the ministers, I've lost it. We have been going through. I listened today. Today I went back and listened to the debate on. It was on Tuesday, and I went back today because I didn't have time. I listened to the Minister of Labour today because I knew it was coming on to talk about labor.
Yes.
And he spoke about the senior citizens and I really didn't know where he was going. I really didn't know where he was going. It was really disappointing. He was playing on sympathies, on Barbadian sympathies. But
how is that? I didn't listen. I need to go back and listen.
It was a bill. It was a bill to deal with so I think Social Security and looking after the elderly and talking about abuse and those things. Yeah. And this government has been in office 7 years. 7 years they've been in office, and every time they do a debate, they are saying that this is a new direction.
Yeah.
They come in office last year. They've been government for 7 years.
Yes.
And I listened to him, Minister Jordan. And Mr. Jordan, I know who he's appealing to. He's Minister of Labour. You have the ministers, Minister Sunderland, who was fired for something to do with housing. He comes on and he speaks as though people forget that he was also in that same ministry for social care. And then you have the other guy, Kurt Humphrey.
Yeah.
7 years trying to get a universal card to deal with social services, not delivered. And they come on and they speak as though Barbadians is ignorant. I mean, look, I went to a meeting this week to look at the Labor Department and to see if we can find a recommendation to send to the ministry. The government has some policy instrument about a lot of nice words about the way forward, and I have it on my phone. My phone is here, but let me speak.
You want that's a document you sent me?
Yes, I sent you a document, but you don't have to pull it up. No, I don't. The government has a issue, and they some fancy terms. You know, they got a lot of fancy names. Barbados 2040, Barbados this and Barbados that. But they're really speaking about where they're going with the national development and so on. And I'm trying to put it up on my phone now. The government is making statements about reform.
Yes.
About reform.
They're telling you to they're telling you to turn and face the camera. They want you to turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Right.
Very good. Yes. Yeah.
This government is being on reform.
Yes.
And I think I put on the paper today that I sent to you on reform efforts by this government.
Yes.
This is now 7 budgets. And I threw away the first one because the first one was a government without an understanding of what reform was.
This was in 2019. They started this back in 2019.
2019, because I was director at Urban when the government came in with this reform exercise. Right. And when I go back and dig into what has happened, all I can tell you is that it has been taught. The government in 2019, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Motley, said that she was going to send home about 1,500 people.
Yes.
And that even one termination is painful, but she regretted she having to send home 1,500 people, and she was going to reform the public service to make it more, they got things fancy names, fit for purpose. It was to be fit for purpose. And she sent home people at Ministry of Transport and Works. They almost rape it. I mean, transport and works was supposed to give way to private sector approaches to road repairs and road construction. So all of the units in the Ministry of Transport took major cuts. All of them. The roads get worse. And the issue that they don't understand is that if you are going to give a contract to a major provider, you can't give them 100 yards or 100 meters of road. That's why this government always goes and gives the people work on the highways.
Right. Because
a contract for a major player can be 200 meters. MTW can do 100 meters. MTW can do 200 meters. But when these people get a contract, they want a whole 6 weeks thing. So the government comes and say before $1 million pave and a bunch of rubbish.
Right.
But the Ministry of Transport is now lacking staff. So all the little small projects in Barbados shut down. All the back roads. I live in Goodland. There's not a good road in Barbados. I saw you couldn't send you a picture I got with a can at the bottom of 3rd Avenue, Goodland and Bridge Gap. It was there since July last year with a culvert broken, and they got a can in Millie Road since July last year. Can't get that fixed. I took pictures and I sent them to the MTW about the drainage in all the districts around. I live in Bridge Gap, where there's a major artery coming from all the way in Green Hill, down to Spring Garden. A major artery. All of the drains are blocked.
Wow.
No cleaning.
And you're saying that this is because they don't have enough staff.
Right. The drainage unit, MTW, and those people have been under-resourced in terms of staff and money. Because the government reform for...
Just for my purposes, I want to make sure I'm following, and for those who are watching. So the 1,500 persons that would have been in this cut, a lot of them came from MTW.
MTW, urban, rural, botanical gardens, those agencies because the government's reform program was to take all the work that MTW does and those people did and hand it to private concessionaries. So the drainage unit was reduced to short-term things. So if they want to do something, to bring on the people for that project. So there's no continuous cleaning of the drains. So if you come down up to Brisgate, I live in Brisgate, I call and I make the people like miserable about the drains because if they overflow, they can come at me. But I can post the pictures tomorrow on social media with the drains coming from Richland, Goodland, and coming into Brisgate. All packed with weeds.
Wow.
I'm talking with garbage. No, the things are growing in the drains.
Growing inside of there.
In the drains. And there's one coming there by the Mormon church into Brisgate. It blocked. The ones coming from Kelmaland behind where my mother lives, blocked. And that's all the public sector reform was to change the lack of performance.
Yeah.
To say that the public sector could not do it. So they wanted to bring a private sector focus on it. Except that nobody told Morley and them that private sector is about profit. MTW before was not about profit. MTW was providing a service of ensuring that water passage from up in Green Hill and Long Gap and those places makes it way to where it has to go. And when the drains are blocked, you're dealing with rodents, mosquitoes. You understand? And this government is walking or floating along as though everything is fine in Barbados. It is not fine.
So you're saying that the government laid off, over 1,500.
No, over 2,000 more. He said it was going to be 1,500. It was over 2,000.
Over 2,000. And I believe we met some of those young men that did the Gabons. And we met some of those workers. And they were telling us about that. Now, so you're saying that they laid off over 2,000 workers, right?
Yes.
But the issue, the question is, how has that really helped with this reform? Well, where's the reform?
It was not reform. I smile every now and then. Look, the public sector is as big as it was in 2019. The difference is that Motley and them brought on things people call influencers, contractors, all those people. So the public sector purse, the money the public sector is spending has not been reduced. The number of people employed in the public sector has been reduced in the general service. But these people are now on special contracts. So you bring on a consultant, you bring on an influencer, you bring on somebody, and he's not being registered as an employee at MTW. He has a contract for 2 years, and then it is renewed and renewed and renewed. So you don't see it coming up in the numbers and estimates because it's in a special cut.
Folks, you hearing this? You all hearing this, people? This is quite interesting. So nothing really.
Let me just draw a concern that I've had for the way. MTW got a drainage unit.
Yes.
Right. Now the drainage unit used to be a full-time staff with a responsibility and a weekly, monthly program. The government came in, Marley, they came in, and they dismantled the drainage unit down to a minimum. I don't know the numbers, 20 somebody first, something like that. And every now and then they bring on a group of people and give them short-term work to go and clean a gutter, clean a gully, and so on. But these people, there's no structured program. this is some people that the government identifies who really right, and they bring them on, and they portion them into a particular community to do all this thing. But it's not an ongoing program that is managed and monitored by the drainage unit, and that's what my concern. And it is replicated across several of those ministries. That the government just brought on some people at the schools, at the Ministry of Education, brought people at the schools, some young people. I don't know what they're calling them. They're supposed to go in there and advise and help with the violence. And people ain't got no qualifications. People ain't got no training. They bring on people and put them in there. And I've been sitting down and saying absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Not a word. And it's taxpayers' money. But once these people identify this issue, the government finds money to select people and put them in positions to go and earn and work for the money, but not to change or deal with the issue that is at hand.
Issue, yes.
That's what my problem is. If you're going to bring on people and pay them, at the end of it, you must be able to tell me these are the results. We brought on these people, and that is what they say. Can't do that because half of the people come with 2 qualifications. They got a letter from the MP and the way right.
Wow.
Those are 2 qualifications.
So
a letter from, listen, I work in the government over 20 years at different times.
Mm-hmm.
And you got 30 seats in the office. And if somebody wants to get a service in the government of Barbados from the public sector, you are required to bring a letter from your MP. That's how you get help. You got to go and get a letter from an MP and bring to government service. A government person say, I ain't say Michael North, so this is my MP, give me a letter to get service. It's sickening. And people Barbados sitting down and accepting that kind of behavior. We have public officers to do an analysis and assessment of people's needs.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want assistance with cow insemination, then I don't know in there, and I go to the Ministry of Agriculture, I shouldn't need to get a letter from an MP to get help or to get assistance.
Mm-hmm.
If I want repairs from the house, why do I need a letter from an MP to take to rural, urban, or national housing to get help? The government got all 30 seats. Let me make an application, and a technical officer, a social worker comes out and makes an assessment and say, yes, I qualify. This is the amount of assistance I can give you. No, you got to go to an MP and get a letter. This place sick.
So, but you know what I don't understand. I mean, it's crazy. They said in 2019 that they were going to lay off these 2,000 persons because they're going to reform public sector, and they come with all of these terminologies and so on. But it seemed to me that they did not have a clear vision. There was a vision of because what is the public sector? What do they want it to become then? Is what I'm asking. You understand?
But you would have seen the paper I put out, and I say that's one of the problems. Yes. Is that they want to do reform, but they don't know what the new reform is to look like. They don't know what they're reforming to. If you make and do reform, you have a picture in your mind what the new entity will look like, what it will be delivering, how you'll be measuring the outcomes. But there's nothing, so it just come in here, the IMF and all of them people telling you need to reform this, you need to reform that, but they have not sat down and internalized what it is we want. So they go and they listen to the new management modules that come out of Britain and Canada and them places that don't fit our circumstance. And then after we try 3 years with it, it can't work. because our level of development can match into the structure of those neoliberal sort models. It can't fit in them. So we end up after, like, this is 30 years we've been doing public sector reform in Barbados now, 30 years. We went to look at performance and review development system, PRDS. We look at interfering with digital. I get so tired. You hear about this digitalization and the paperless work. Go on a corporate affairs website and try to register a company. You get belly hurt. You get stressed. I went to MTW to get my license renewed. 3 places the same. I still get definitely frustration. And they talk about the paperless Barbados. And the Prime Minister talk about we are digitizing Barbados and we doing the new reform models. Rubbish.
So, Dr. Alleyne, I'm listening to you, and from what I've read from your document, it seems like for them the reform is staff cuts, right? It's merging the different agencies, and it's this digitization talk. That is what is reform for them. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that is just the talk. Look, the urban and the rural development commissions have now been brought together, and it's now called the Urban Rural Development Commission. That's what it's called.
Okay, so they brought the two of those together.
Yeah. And I ask people in Barbados who are making applications for assistance, how has that changed for them? Ask them, is it faster? Are people getting? I got a lady calling me. She want a poll put down so she can get a poll for an individual is about $3,000. I may be a little bit over now, a little short, because I've not been in the system for recently. But telephone poll to service a house is very expensive. And she went to urban and asked for help. The 2 years. 2 years and all the reform. The reform is supposed to make it more efficient.
Correct.
You go to urban and you say, well, look, I don't have the money for the material. Can you give me material? Let me get a carpenter. That is pulling teeth with a toothpick. Stress.
So even though they've merged the two departments, it's not really it's not servicing the people. It's not.
No. All it did is to reduce the number of staff. All it did is to send home people. Let me go to gymnasium, the sports council, and call me. Gymnasium, the sports council, and call me. The quality at those institutions is worse. They call me down there struggling to get kids over, makes sense. The gymnasium up there still doing the same thing.
It's true. It is true.
And the sports council, it gets worse. And you got people who were hired at national, and the national state that has been closed now for 6 years. What have they been doing?
So you're saying that they have merged. You see, like some of these things I wasn't even aware of it. I know that they Comey. Well, I knew that Comey was always separate. Right, Comey, but they have merged gymnasium with Comey and the sports council. What are they now calling that?
No, they ain't got a name. Is that a merger? So Comey, gymnasium, National Sports Council.
Yeah.
They're supposed now to be merged, but they can't get the merged name out. They can't get a new. They're like urban and rural name, Urban and Rural Development Commission. So the two commissions now merged into one. Now, I don't know what the position of Comey, National Stadium, and the gymnasium. I don't know what the position of them. All I can tell you is that Comey down there struggling to get Kansas over in shape.
Right.
The gymnasium struggling, and the National Sports Council really want restructuring because it has lost its direction.
Do you
Now,
think? Do you think that they have because of the layoffs and the merging, the mergers, the merging? Sorry, that they have become. I mean, in terms of operate the way they operate,
look,
that has affected them structurally. They become weak.
look.
Um,
If you want to do my view
mhm,
about reform and
mhm.
restructuring and so on, you have to have an idea what you expect to get at the end.
Yes.
This is what I'm looking for. How do I achieve this entity? And this entity that I'm searching for is to do A, B, and C.
Uh-huh.
This crowd can't get that understand. So let's send off people, bring on who they like, them friends and family. That's what they do. And when you go through this is 7 years that this government in office. This ain't don't look at election was this year. This is the third election that they're in 7 years. And that's why they keep the elections so soon and so regular, so that
Yeah.
we lose focus to understand that they've been in government for 7 years and has achieved absolutely nothing. The health service is supposed to be reformed. The polyclinics and the hospitals are supposed to be amalgamated and supposed to be a smooth transition and flow between the polytechnics and the hospital. Ask any patient, doctor, nurse, patient, anybody, if the service in Barbados at the polyclinics or the hospital get any better. Ask them. And we're talking about reform is a buzzword. And they're hiding behind the talk. I mean, listen to them talking today about the elderly and people on fair, the elderly and the minister Jordan talking about verbal violence and financial this. And I say myself, he know right here. It no getting him today. Let me make the other connection.
Yes.
Now, my thesis is that anytime Barbados is to go forward, the
Mm-hmm.
social partnership must be constituted and be part of the exercise.
Yes. Yes.
That's my thesis. My thesis is that when we had
I
crises,
want you to turn your chair and look straight ahead. Right. So we want to connect with what you're saying. Yes.
yeah,
And I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
my thing is that when we were in crisis in the 1994s,
Mm-hmm.
1994, 95 period, that the social partnership emerged as a group of workers and their representatives, employers representatives, and the government understanding that we had to work together.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 6 or 7 protocols, 6 or 7 protocols that
Mm-hmm.
every year identified the structure and the focus for the particular year or
Mm-hmm.
for what we were going to do, whether it was um, public sector reform, whether it was housing development, whether it was dealing with the social services, whether it was doing whatever. There was a
Mm-hmm.
focus coming through those protocols every year, and the partnership worked towards those aims.
Mm-hmm.
That has stopped. That has
Why?
stopped.
Why?
Truth is, all I can tell you is that the ministers and the government seem to believe that the social partnership is not worth the time and the effort. What I can tell you is that there's been an effort to ignore the subcommittee of the social partnership. I think it met once last year, and that is when the Minister of Labor meets in committee stage with the partners and have a dialogue, a discussion about what's happening in Barbados. It met once last year, and
Mm.
that's a statement to me that you are not really serious. And I'm aware now that we go to ILO every year,
Mm-hmm.
and we take down a tripartite group supposed
Mm-hmm.
to be the labor, the employers and the government,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been compromising that situation No, for the last, I think, 9 years, because it started when the I don't want, I should, I could call her name, Dr. Sukubwe, made an effort to send the C2 SAB rather than the Barbados Workers Union to the ILO.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the Barbados Workers Union raised all kind of hell and withdrew and went into all kind of ruckus. But every year since this government is in office, it has been the Barbados Workers Union who has gone to ILO, and C2 SAB has not been able to go. Has not been able to go and represent the other only union that goes is the Barbados Workers Union. And if I would have to send you, pull up the rules and show you that it is supposed to be the Congress that's supposed to be to go to ILO meetings. But the Barbados Workers Union has been going every year. And C2 SAB has not been able to go. And that has been undermining the social partnership in Barbados. The
So let me
employers
ask you a question, Dr. Alleyne here, because I'm learning so much here tonight. The social partnerships, that whole concept started in the 90s?
90s, yes, where we had the structural problems with when there was a threat to our dollar, and Dr. Erskine Sandifer's government was under pressure, and they met with the unions and the employers, and they formed the partnership, and then they put it into writing, and they had protocols, and it developed, and it saved us in 1994.
How did it save us? How did it save us?
Because they got together and they worked out a program collectively. These are the best options for us. We don't want the dollar to be valued, so labor took some strain, employees took little strain, and the government did some cuts, and public service was reduced. Yes, I can't remember how many people, nearly 2,000 people at that time as well. Certainly by 1994, by 1996, when the Labour Party came in, the public sector back to where it was. That's a different story, which because I don't do the numbers and show the shift after 1994 when the cuts came.
So you're telling me, I'm learning. So you're saying that the social partnerships, all of that was instituted in the 1990s under Erskine Sandifer in order to keep the dollar not devalued. And they came in 1996. The public sector was now back to where it is supposed to be.
Right, the numbers went back up by 1996. The numbers went back up.
The numbers went back up.
And they came back down. They came back down in 2018 when the government changed again. They brought them back down. And then right now they're back up again. That's my argument. I can get the numbers and I can put them on social media. The public sector numbers are down in terms of the people who are paid directly from the consolidated fund. But I mean there are people in public sector now who are being paid direct contracts, influencers, contractors, and consultants. And the people at the bottom are on short-term contracts, 3 months and 6 months. They don't pay national insurance for them. They're not entitled to holiday. And I say I make this claim on this program now that I've been calling for a reform of the Labor Department. The Labor Department has nine safety and health officers. 9 labor officers and 7 safety and health officers, and have the police every office, every workplace in Barbados. The Labor Department.
Explain what you're saying. Explain it a little bit.
All right, the Labor Department. The Labor Department has to do visits at shops to make sure that the wages are being paid correct.
Okay, the Labor Department.
That the conditions in the office are safe and healthy. They go visit quarries. They go in harbor. and make sure the harbor safe.
This is
They go to the airport and make sure the airport safe. They go do Chafet, Kentucky. Every nook and cranny the labor department has to go and visit to make sure that the place is safe and healthy. They got 16 technicals. I ain't talking about the chief and the deputy chiefs and them. I'm talking about the people who got to do the groundwork. There's 16 technical officers that go and do that work. And all of them in scales, in these Z scales. So a lot of people are not attracted to go and work in the labor department anymore because the conditions of service have not changed since I was there.
So when you say, well, I'm slowing you down because I want to understand. I want my viewers to understand. So you said they're down into the Z scales. It means that you're saying that the pay is not that great. So is it that the department is now understaffed? Why they're not able to go and visit and do the site visits?
I'm saying that the technical staff, the safety health officers and the labor officers are 16. I am not counting the chief or the deputy chief. I'm talking with the people who go on the road, do inspections, 16? Do reports. 16. And when I was there, there were 13. I was there in 1980s. And we have many more factories, many more hotels, many more shops. And but at the same time, this government can name senior ministers and pay them big money, ministers, parliamentary secretaries, and give each one of them has a personal assistant and a constituency assistant.
Well, hold a minute there. So you're saying that, oh wow. We want labor officers, we want health and safety officers. And those people also in the same labor department deals with immigration workers going to work in Canada. They gotta do complaints. They gotta do the Port Vale. The labor officer has to go down there and deal with that matter. As a matter of fact, I got a phone call today from a guy who was working at Radisson. He told me he heard you're going on the program. And he want you to tell Marcia that we got 26 workers work at Radisson since 2012. Got laid off and was supposed to get severance pay. Didn't get it yet. Wow, at Radisson.
I'm working at Radisson, and every time they go to the employment tribunals, it postponed.
And there are 26 workers. We're going to talk more off air. And so somebody said if that is why the cases, the cases they take so long to be addressed.
You're gonna staff. They know the minister talk for the last 7 years about reforming the employment tribunals. He bring on 3 people: a registrar, a clerk, and then who the other body is, maid or something. He ain't serious. You got issues that are outstanding since 2012. You can't get justice in that environment. People that lost the work in 2012 still have not had a decision on the fairness of their termination.
Wow.
And they walking out, clapping the chest and fussy, and wearing a lot of jackets and suits, and upset me. Workers in Barbados and the union dumb about it, not a word. I heard the young lady from St. George, so far north, from the Barbados Workers Union, complaining that she telling employers about short-term contracts. And the government is the biggest culprit. And she in the government. The people at the botanical gardens, I walk in the morning and do my exercise going through the gardens, and they stop me and tell me, we still not getting national insurance paid.
You serious?
I'm serious. Ask them, don't ask me. Ask the government if they pay national insurance to pay a botanical garden.
Wow.
And he's walking about clapping the chest and hollering out, and people in the red walking about saying hip hip hooray.
But let me ask you something, Dr. Alleyne. So that means they're considering them as contract workers.
Yes. And the contract test already told you that they are not contract workers. They don't determine the time they go to work. They don't determine what they do. They don't determine the tools they use. There's a host of contract tests. I got 13 or 14 tests. And for everyone, those people are employed by the government. And this government continues to unfair those workers.
So why isn't it? Are they part? So they're not part of a union? Where are the unions?
What unions you talking about? We just told you that the Barbados workers, you complaining about private sector, short-term contracts, and she is in a government with paying the public sector workers short-term contracts. And people and no national insurance is being paid for some of those workers at botanical gardens and at NCC. And he wanted to not bring on a Ministry of Education calling it some foolish name. And people will walk about in red. You don't know red is devil. They don't know red is devil. Anyhow.
No,
but my concern you raise the issue of the unions is that I watch this behavior of our unions. Yes, compromise has always been a tool used by unions so that they can reduce the number of man hours lost. So you make some compromises to keep the environment, climate comfortable and so on. But yes. You can't sell out. You can't sell out. You can't shut down. You can't just withdraw. And then every time one of the little companies in town do something, you holler out. The government sets the example. Mm-hmm. And if the government is setting an example of short-term contracts, even permanent sector, not permanent sector, heads of departments in Barbados, head of Ministry of Education, short-term contract for 2 or 3 years. Chief Agriculture Officer, short-term contract for 2 or 3 years. And then the Barbados Museum John said, we're talking about the government contracts and contract work. The government set the example and she's part of the government. Clean your face first. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tell your government that if they can't set that kind of example, so and then the private sector will fall in line.
So you're saying that people like you said the chief cultural officer,
chief education officer, chief agricultural officer.
Wow.
They are on fixed term contracts, 2 or 3 years. I don't know which one it is.
Wow.
But what that does is that the person who is deputy, mm-hmm. When that contract does, that person going to decide if they can take a short-term contract or they can stay deputy.
Ah.
And people seem to see nothing wrong with that. And this government parades, floats along, and people accept that. What's
the impact on the worker? Let's discuss that.
Well, let me tell you this. If you are a worker, and the public service is what it's supposed to be. The public service is supposed to be a profession. You're supposed to be a public officer. Mm-hmm. And you start as a clerical officer or technical officer, and you going through the service, you're providing, you get promotions, and you're working to become a chief. I wanted to become the chief labor officer. I was the labor officer, and I left because I went into youth service. And then I left and went into politics. But I entered at the labor officer level, want to be a senior, want to be the assistant chief, then the deputy chief, and then the chief. That's how it works. Now when you come and start giving me as the chief a 2-year contract, why you gonna take a 2-year contract and then if I done the 2-year contract, I gotta revert. Mm-hmm. I gotta go back to the deputy chief. So there's no incentive for me to do anything. There's no incentive for people to look to progress in the public sector. And this government has been introducing these things through the back door. And the unions have been silent on them. I remember when the first one happened, the chief agriculture officer, I think that was about 2012, no, 2021. I don't want to call the young lady's name, but she came from a private sector company, went straight and got a contract. And two people that I taught at university were in line to become chief. And they had to give way to this short, because they don't want to go on a 2-year contract. They sat down with any 2 or 3 years, they resigned and went home. And you lost that quality, that immense experience. And that agriculture has not caught itself since then. It's saying with education, we all this foolishness about transformation, 2 ministers and a half and all kind of foolishness. Because the technical people who had their careers in building education have been sidelined for expedience, political expedience. And education will never, under this government, catch itself. Will never, under this government, catch itself. It had been compromised.
So, I'm thinking of Esther Bayasaku. I wish I could get her on the show, but she did a lot with the Employment Rights Act, right?
Yeah, look, I was in the public service then. I was a union, and we had so many meetings. I remember, I think it was one of those guys from university came and gave us a presentation at the union. Doctor, can't remember what the body was. My brain ain't clicking, but he came down and he did a presentation, and we brought the public officers, senior public officers at the union, and it was a lunchtime lecture. I remember who the body was, and he came and he gave a presentation on the Employment Rights Act, and that was really part of the original effort to modernize the employment law in the Caribbean, industrial relations law in the Caribbean. And Barbados took the lead. And the ERT, Employment Rights Tribunal, then became a critical part of the Employment Rights Act. But I am trying to remember who the person was that came from the university and did the thing at NUPW. But the unions were part of it. Unions. And the truth is, for 3 years, we didn't have a chairman. And that's why the backlog is where it is now. Because if you're not meeting to deal with cases, and every day there's a case, and when you look at the staffing of the Labor Department, which does most of the groundwork, to send the reports on to the tribunal, then we got a problem. We have workers that will continue to suffer because the ERT. But the ERT is, I sent the paper to you today. We have major challenges coming now. We have, look, I walk a lot in the morning. I do a lot of miles.
I know you walk for hours.
Yeah, I do no less than 4 hours a day. I just walk.
Wow.
By walking, going down to Brandon's last year, and I saw a truck with some men on it, and they said, "Good morning," and they look at me as though I was from Israel. So I said, "Buenos dias," and I said, "Bien dias." So I said, "¿Qué tal?" "Oh, muy bien, all from Colombia." They told me they were from Colombia. And I'm certain that there are others from Mexico, but they're working here. And migrant workers need protection.
Yes. Wow.
We got workers here from India, in hotels, Canada, New Zealand. We got workers from China, and increasingly from Colombia and the other South American countries. Let's be even in the Guyanese and the Vincies, they're we people. But the young people outside the region are coming here. They got language problems. The Employment Rights Act must respond to this new environment. It must respond to that.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
This is not business as usual. Then we have in Barbados, we have challenges at our workplaces where the health and safety practices are under pressure. The ERT must look at the new environment and fashion ways to protect the rights and interests of workers without undermining the employers. We got new employers into Barbados that are not Bajan.
Right.
So you gotta be adjusting the ERT continuously. It's not a thing you do in 2013 and it's done. As long as the environment changes, you gotta keep adjusting it. So you need to have a research team and a writing team constantly reviewing and updating the Employment Rights Act. And they be saying that to the minister, but you know he ain't listening because of them.
Right, yeah.
And if them say something, them ain't want to hear. Because they feel that to listen to the them is to say that them ain't know. But the fact is they don't. The ERT employment, he was promising to revisit the act the day he came into government. Twice he made promises. All he did, tinker with it, bring on a registrar, a friend of mine, a good man who worked real hard, retiree like me, but he gone back out there. I know he can get 100%. I think it's a clerk. I think and a messenger driver, something like that. Who that would then bring on to service the ERT. And they're serious. They are not serious.
Listen, this is. I mean, this is because we've gone into it a bit, but there's so much that I'm making notes, and I still made notes this evening. But it's because you have to sink your teeth into it, guys. This is the very, very serious stuff going on. But let me let people know that the line is open up, and you know we're gonna hold on to you for as long as we can on these Monday nights to get everything out of you. You're gonna say everything you want to say here. Continue to write your stuff, but you know, your articles, but this is a space, Dr. Alleyne, that you can come. And it reminds me of when Caswell used to come on, and the same way I used to write, because I'm learning. I'm literally learning from you.
You know, Caswell and I work together at the NUPW for a little while. We communicate every now and then. I haven't heard him for a little while, but I did put out a statement last week before last supporting him on the Portland issue. I thought that there were a few issues that he needed to get on top of, but I did support him. Yes. And the truth is, when I ask you what is the latest with the Port Vale issue, you can't tell me. You can't tell me if the workers' matters have been resolved. Nobody can tell me what is still. It just fade out.
See, and that's the problem.
It has dissipated into a non-issue. The Portville not complaining that it's equipment that break down. It's equipment that break down, not the relationship between the employer and the employees. That's not the issue anymore. It is equipment that has broken down that is causing the delay for the car. I tell you, this place is special. This place is special.
But let me just let people know that the line is open 236-7000. We can take WhatsApp calls. So call in and ask any questions in the next. We have 26 minutes, or you're gonna have to hold your questions till next week, right? But Dr. Alleyne is on a roll here. Okay, there is a call that is coming in, and just so you know, Dr. Alleyne, you will have to wait till they're finished before you can comment. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show. What's on your mind?
Good night, Marcia. I'm guess how you doing?
Doing great, doing great. So the system we have, you just have to make your comment or ask your question, then we close the call and then you listen for any response. So go right ahead, please.
Yes, sir. I am a Barbadian diaspora, and I'm shocked to hear what's really going on in Barbados. The question is, why our own black people is doing this to each other?
Mm-hmm.
I will hang up on this and listen and let you respond to that. Why is it our own black people that look in the mirror every day is doing this to each others? Thank you, sir.
Yes, thanks for that comment, the call and the question. Yes, Dr. Alleyne.
Well, I don't think it is black people or white people that are doing it. I think it is system. We have agencies that are supposed to perform responsibilities and duties, and they're not doing it. And that's because and I maintain that the agencies and institutions that we've developed over years have been undermined, under-resourced, understaffed, and so on, and that those people are overwhelmed. I am certain that there's no way that 9 or 7, 16 technical officers can run a Ministry of Labor in 2026 and get proper results. There's absolutely no way.
We have another caller, Dr. Alleyne. Just hang on. Go right ahead, caller. Good night. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Hi, good night, Marcia, and good night, Comrade Alleyne. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Go right ahead. Thank you for calling.
Yes. My question is this, and my comment. I agree fully with everything Derek is saying, because they talk about celebrating Labor Day that's coming up in May. Well, the laborers and the workers, the average workers, they really got to celebrate, because we still faced with a plethora of cases inside of the Employment Rights Tribunal that has not been heard yet, despite what others are saying. So my question to Comrade Alleyne is this: what can we do then that they are not doing to revive that part that is very needed by the employees themselves, as far as boosting the morale of the workers, not only contract workers, and also the people inside of the Employment Rights Tribunal, which the staffing is low. What should they do to build up the staff? What should they be doing that they're not doing?
Look.
Have a good night, Marcia.
Yes, thank you. Thanks.
No, the truth is that they need staff and they need quality staff. I am saying that the registrar, a man I've known for a long time, is competent and capable of producing adequate reports and information for the tribunal to work. But he can't do it with the number of staff he or the Labor Department have. The staff is just inadequate, and the employment environment in Barbados is toxic. So we need to get health and safety officers, and we need to get labor officers, but we also need to make the remuneration for them attractive. Those people at Z23 or 16 or something like that, them at 4,000 or 3,000, they are inadequately paid for the challenges that they're going to deal with. And you're going to make those posts attractive so that people who come to the university will rally and go and want to become health and safety officers and labor officers. And I have to say this. We have some people that get employed as youth commissioners. Some of them got CXC, and them are better salaries than labor officers.
What?
The only qualification got is a letter from the minister, the MP. That's the only qualification some of them got, Are they getting paid better than labor officers? And they tell us to challenge me on that. And you got labor officers in there, and most of the labor officers now are labor officers too.
So you're saying that they've now employed some people to help to work in the schools. And
These ones are youth commissioners.
Youth commissioners.
Youth commissioners. Qualification needed is a letter from the MP.
To be a youth commissioner, what are they doing in the schools?
No, they're not in the schools. They are political activists out in the community doing the Barbados their party work.
Oh. Wow.
And back in 1994, 5 when they came on, they became a headache for the NUPW when I was there. Because they could not get a point, because they did not have qualifications to be appointed.
Mm-hmm.
And the government organized with the Commonwealth Youth Program to do a certificate course, mm-hmm. so that they can then get a qualification to be appointed as a youth commissioner. And a lot of them can pass. I don't want to call nobody name, but I got one of them there that he can pass, but he no bigger. But the point is they get paid more money than labor officers, and the only qualification some of them got is a letter from the MP. That's all. That is double standards in this country, and people in red fussy. That's all. Once you got a rate, here in Barbados. You're supposed to survive and to look good. Everybody else must grind and suffer, and that is the challenge in Barbados, and people got to wake up to it. If it is unfair, it is unfair. If it is wrong, it is wrong.
Yes, we have a caller there. So caller, as I've told the others, you just have to make your comment or your question, and then we close the call, and then you listen for the response. So, but thank you for calling. Go right ahead.
No problem, Marcia.
I owe you a picture. I need to send you. I was trying to find that picture to send to you, the $3 picture.
And I also sent you something to listen to. All right, so that would tell you about Class A, Class B.
Okay.
Right, so listen to it on your thing.
No problem.
All right, next thing is, now to Alleyne. Now,
hello.
He was my adopted dad, or he used to be like my dad was Buzz Jordan. So I know the labor laws very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on every year, come the 31st of January or by the 31st of January, the physiotherapists, the acupuncturists, the reflexologists, and a host of other people have to pay $375. There is no cross-contamination being done. Nothing whatsoever. The other thing I want to know is National Insurance is owed a lot of money. Back in the day, you used to have officers from the National Insurance, used to go to all the businesses to make sure they were paying in the funds. And why is that not now happening? They should not be having all this money owed, that employers are taking money from their employees and not paying it in. So when they go on sick leave, they can't get no pay. This is ludicrous, abnormal, and I don't even want to go there. That is what I'm saying tonight. But it's health and safety that is a matter for me, because why are we paying $375 and we have to pay it by the 31st? If we do not pay it by the 31st of January, it doubles to $750. All right? Okay, I'm listening.
Yes.
Now there's a government for small people. The government is saying that they're for small people. I want to believe them. But it used to be called compliance.
What you said?
They say that this is a government that said it for small people.
Uh-huh.
But they bleed small people. Bleed them.
They're faker than a $3 bill. They've shown the people the $3 bill.
Yeah. But at the National Insurance, there were compliance officers, and each of them would have a group of employers that on a monthly basis, they would make contact with them and make sure that they paid in their contributions. When the National Insurance first started, they used to get cards, and the cards would be stamps and so on would be applied. But then the system got more sophisticated and it went computerized and so on. And a lot of the visits have been reduced. I don't know the extent to which they visit. I got a very, very good friend who was a senior officer there, and he goes out on the road. I don't know how many there are. What I can promise you to do is I will check to see how many compliance officers there are, and then look back to see how wide the national insurance take has come, and if they have moved the number of officers to deal with the volume and so on. I can do that for you by next meeting. What I can also tell you is that the national insurance is no longer a general service institution. It's not gone on the board, and I do not know how the management process is. I cannot speak to it yet. I haven't had a chance to speak to any of the senior staff about the new arrangements. So again, I promise to have a look and to find out what their views are on the new arrangement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very wow. This is an eye-opening session, and it reminds me of a lot of what
Marcia, I was a labor officer, right? I had to do 90 shops a month. 90 every month.
right.
I had to visit 90 shops.
Yeah, I have to break you there. There's a caller who had been calling, so let me just let her. Yes, yes. Good night, caller. Good night. I'm glad you called back. Yes.
Yes,
How are you?
good
Go right
night,
ahead.
Mr. Alleyne. Yeah, good night, Mr. Alleyne, and good night, Marcia.
Good night.
What I want to say that they got back slavery back in Barbados. They put the whip into my hand to cut me tail once more again. We need to get rid of this party. This is a slavery party. Be back in slavery.
I agree.
Look,
Be
look,
back
I tried not to.
poor people don't get this lady. Oh, we are going to die. She is killing the poor people. She is for the rich and the famous. Cause she always like flying. She always out of Barbados. She need to go.
Well, the people that they put her back in. It's the people that put her back in.
Oh no, they may put her back in. This was a by-election. This is a fair election.
All right, call. I got you.
No,
Make
Marcia,
close
I have determined in my mind that I not getting into the last election because I get very tired, right? Trying to internalize what really went down. I get people from the right stream called me and tell me another 30 love, and I told them I didn't get 30 love. Barbados got 30 love. Because if Barbadians are comfortable with what they had, don't complain to me now. People had an opportunity to go out there and to make a statement, and the result to me says that they were comfortable with what they had.
What they had, and we have another caller right here. Good night, caller. Welcome to the Marcia Weekes Show.
Good night, Marcia, and good night, Dr. Alleyne.
Good night. Good night. Great to have you. Go right ahead.
Dr. Alleyne, I really heard you. And you said something that I was watching for the longest time. And from the time the 2018 election and the IMF, when they came to this country, in other words, they were here before the election and they were calling the shots even before they win the election. Now, I always tell people, not that I don't read Bible, I hate the Bible, but sometimes when I just take a text from a Calypsonian, and a Calypsonian put me in the mind of John the Baptist. He comes, when he pen a song and he sing it, he comes with a message. There's one that I think I sent it to Marcia. This is chalk dust.
Yeah.
The IMF And tell you why he said that too. Now, I think it's the second verse of that song. Where Mr. Lagarde at the time, and the present central bank governor, and the same Miss Moore, you know, I think it's the second verse of that song. I know Dr. Alleyne went to church and Sunday school and church. Marcia, I never see you yet. When you living in Jamaica, but I see you know here. None of your parents bring you up in the Sunday school and the church. And we had something called a recitation. And we had to practice that and practice that and practice that to be able to recite it, whether it was for Christmas, harvest, and different types of the year, different seasons of the year, Vicentine and Easter and so on. Now, I want to study that verse. I'll go through it, that verse constantly, repeatedly all the time. Where the IMF tell Miss Molly, because she went for them, in order for you to get my money, you have to cut out the tongue of the trade unions. And the first one the tongue get cut out was Miss Tony Moore. You remember, Rima from St. George North had to go. Well, last you hear her in the house giving a heavy debate, a public debate for the workers in this country. Whenever she get to the bargaining table, I hear, like my friend that is in security guard place, I think the last of the money get was 21 cents. Derek?
Hi.
I come, I know, not a family, I come out the days when the trade union movement was like, your foot on fire. And I remember those days, the stead, yes, you all wear government hat. When they wear BLP hat and DLP hat. But then the time for the workers to get money, Paul King Douglas had another word for it. But people interpret say cussing. But I can say to meet you somewhere and told it me, yeah, cussing. But that is the story too. That when y'all took off the red hat and the yellow hat, I want to go to the table. I want to start, I want 10%, 15%, one and leaving. They want to get it. Now, I hear some numbers called, I said, what? I coming from the mouth of the labor minister. The labor minister and also the one from the union. That time boy, he would tell you about an ounce of cheese, 6 biscuits, and a Martin you drink. Remember, Derek, you know about those days.
Yeah.
This present trade union leader in the Barbados Labour Party that represented all the majority of the workers. She's wasting workers' time. And I think, I don't know who to go and get the papers. I don't know if it's the Governor General, or I have to go and get the price. Somebody to go and get it to when you're leaving. Take them to them, go back in Harmony Hall, and work for the workers. You are not doing nothing for us. And if I got the day before such and such as a date, you said, "Bird your pen, Dr. Alleyne."
Yes, please.
Me, or come by me by St. George Parish Church and give me the message. I be down there with my mother, my grandmother, and my father. Cause I ain't seeing nothing coming out of Bird your paint. That's gonna be a 9 days wonder.
Yeah.
Cause we get to know who they are.
Yeah. Commissioner, is this Commissioner, right?
Yes.
Commissioner, I tell you, I can't wait for the day you come down to the school where I have the studio one Wednesday and sit down and you and I just talk face to face. That's what I would like to do. I
I can't get, you know the thing that I show you, that I got, that my son set up.
no, that one
You
can't
want that
work.
one?
That one can't work like that. I will have to call you and we talk about it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, Marcia, wait before.
No, let us talk off air. No, Commissioner, because it's 9:55. Let's talk about any arrangements off air, okay? But thank you for your comment.
I'll call you and let you know.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for calling. Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Commissioner.
Wait, let's pick it up on what Commissioner just said.
Okay, all right.
The last year around October or November, a letter was put on the social media about the privatization of the transport board.
Mm-hmm.
That has implications for workers. And there was a sort of hushed down environment over it. But recently, the Prime Minister went, I think, to St. Peter and said that she was not privatizing. She was going to enfranchise.
Dave, you gotta put up back the $3. Put up back the $3. That's a $3 moment right there.
She was not privatize. She was not selling the transport board. she was going to enfranchise the workers. No.
Yes.
No, you know what that says to me is that she really thinks that we are ignorant, and that we stupid, and that we are dumb, and that she could tell me anything and we believe it. Now, in same October, November last year, the government said that 30 buses were on the sea coming to Barbados.
Yeah.
30. The same way with the lights down in St. James North, they're on a slow boat from China.
Yeah.
You understand? Because at that time I wrote a piece in social media asking if you are going to privatize the transport board, what is the position with these 30 buses? Who can be able to buy them? Because it is not only the purchase of the bus, it is maintenance for these buses. We're gonna get generators and chargers and things to keep them going. The unions got called the government to come because workers' future is involved. The future of the workers is involved. How are those workers going to plan their future? And these unions say absolutely nothing. If you are going to enfranchise the workers, what are you saying? Are you going to give them severance big enough to buy 2 buses, 3 buses? The last effort they had with the repair shop there had been catastrophe after catastrophe, confusion after confusion. And the Prime Minister has to stop treating Barbados as though the dump sea. If the IMF earlier program indicated to the Prime Minister and the government that they need to free themselves of the transport board, tell us that, and then give us some options, and let us, with the government and the workers, work out which option we can live with. But don't come and tell us like we ignorant that you in privatizing it, you enfranchising workers. What ignorance? This someone take that business dumpsy. But I noticed just now on the running track that I was told by a very good friend of mine from he used to work at NIS that they still have the compliance officers. But the challenge is collection. In short, employers are not paying in the national insurance. That is a challenge. That is a challenge. And the government has to find ways of ensuring that they pay or deal with the businesses.
You have to, yeah, they have to, yeah.
That is a legal requirement, and there are legal consequences of not paying in people's national insurance. And the inspectors and the compliance officers are not able to exercise their authority unless they have the strength and the backing of a government who is worker understanding, worker friendly, and who understands that the national insurance contributions, what it says, your contribution is what it
Is your lifeline.
lifeline. So if the employees are not paying any contributions, we ain't got a lifeline. We don't have a lifeline, and then when the government is taking it and selling it and giving it away and lending it to who they want to lend it to, and forgiving it and all sorts of things, the funds soon collapse.
Yeah.
So I thank my friend for making the comment that the problem is collection, and maybe we will have to have a discussion on national insurance generally and ask a few people to come in. We got some fellas who retire already who are free to come and make some comments about it. You know, some of them are anxious to get on to speak to it.
Well, I would love, we will chat and make some plans, you know, but one concerning that, we do have Mr. Strickland who comes on and
right, that's right. That's what I didn't want to call his name, but that is. He was a fantastic officer.
Yes,
Fantastic.
and guess
Fantastic.
what? You know,
I got to tell you, a lot of respect for Brother Strickland.
yes,
A lot of respect.
and Mr. Franklin is who you know and turned us onto him, and he comes on Wednesdays and answers you know direct questions from the people regarding their situation, their particular circumstances. But we're talking now to look, you know, for to look at it as an overall, you know, general. You know,
I will try to be here on Wednesday. Strickland is going to be on, and let me have a discussion with the connection. Between labor and national insurance and how we can bring it together. Because the truth is, part of the labor inspection process is to ensure that any benefits belonging to workers are paid. You check the wages register. You are to ensure that wages have been paid and any contributions made to any entity, that those contributions have been made. Maybe if they're short on officers, we may need to get work with the labor department to combine the visits and to ensure that employees are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Alleyne. We were waiting, and the wait was worth it.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for your time. Thank you for coming, and we look forward to having you the next sitting. All right. Thank you.
I just want to tell you to keep on doing what you're doing. Do not listen to the negatives. There are people who will want to give you vibes that make you frustrated. Don't listen to them.
No, I'm not.
You are a voice in the wilderness, and keep doing it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And as long as I can, I will come on and give a little contribution.
Thank you. And any of the other retired people, let them know this is a space that they can come to educate. I learned so much today, tonight, from you. The same I used to do from Franklin and Miss McLean. I didn't even understand about the social partnership. I didn't understand that, and now I understand how that worked and how that was introduced. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you very much for having me. Okay. Yes. God bless. Okay. God bless. Yes.
Bye-bye. That was so wonderful, guys. I don't know about you, but I love to learn new things. And, you know, I love when we have our Glenn Murrays and we have Maxine McLean and we now have our Derek Alleyne and we have all these people and we get to learn so much. we do education on here, and we do motivation, mobilization, agitation. And that's what happens here on the Marcia Weekes Show. And so, you know, Mondays we have Dr. Derek Alleyne is on. We will have soon, in another couple of weeks, we'll have Glenn Murray back on Mondays as well to join him. And what a wonderful time that is going to be. Well, folks, we're going to see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. is the start of our pause and reflect, right? We're going to pause and reflect as Barbadians, okay? And at 6 a.m. is our reflect or prayer. And you can do that by yourselves, or you can actually join in with us here on the platform. I'm seeing a prayer request coming in from someone's mother here. Adriana Bascom's mother is having the surgery on Wednesday, and so he's asking for prayer. Adrian Bascom, write that down, please. His mom is having surgery on Wednesday and needs prayer. He needs you to pray for her. All right. And I've already sent that out to parts of the prayer team, Adrian. So we will. At 12 noon is our national pause, where we're asking everybody to pause for 2 minutes. 1 minute for the national heroes and 1 minute for those who have, who we've lost, loved ones that have been lost. We're going to stand still, we're going to be silent, and we're going to reflect. And at 6 p.m., you gather together with whomever, your family, friends, and reflect. Pray if you choose to, or just reflect, come together, have a great conversation. Tomorrow. Let it be one of those kinds of days. We're going to open the channel up from 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to be open. All right. Right back to the 6 p.m. And we're going to have all kinds of different things happening on here that will aid in the pause. All right. So once again, thank you all so very much. I just want to make one little plea here. Thank you, Mavis. Mavis said that she's going to pray. Thank you. Just before I go, I want to say that the 4 young men, they're putting on Shine Barbados, and they are in need of $3,600 to help them with the young people. That's something, they're not getting any money from government. You know that already, because they're associated with the DLP. So I'm going to ask different ones of you, if you have any kinds of donations. We got a donation already from one person who's on. I don't want to call her name, but the rest of you, if you can give a donation towards the Shine Barbados. This is we're talking here about Damien. All right, we're talking about Damien, the 3 young men who come on with me on Wednesday. This week would be that week that you need to make that donation so that they can pay the funds for the lights, the sound, the location, and so on. Okay, so you can give me a call if you want to help them out. That would be lovely, because they're creating something to help young people. All right, and let's help them. So God bless you all. Thanks to Dave, and thanks to everybody who contributed tonight. God bless you all, and see you on tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Rambling, they'll be scrambling, cause they know they have not done very well. They'll be hustling, they'll be boasting, but the cost of living got me catching hell. They're trying to patch the patch watches in the roads and delivering plenty lies by the loads. They now promising beach access when all along it was causing us stress. We don't want the bees no more. We don't want the bees no more. This doesn't walk like government has to go. Yeah, we saying please no more. God knows we can't take no more. These inefficient imposters have to go. Yeah, the bees running, the bees balling you cause their internal pollen was very bleak. The bees hurting, some of them now praying yeah cause on governance they've been very weak. So we're saying bees no more. We telling the bees no more. We will use our eggs to settle the score. Yeah. Tell the bees to go. We can't take them anymore. Cause for the borrowed billions, there's nothing to show. Prime Minister, you've called the elections, but you still haven't answered our questions. What's the latest on the Constitution? About the transport board, you ain't said not ton. Why your ministers can't fix the hospital? And when will we get an auditor general? What about the issue at Savion Bay? And will we ever see the Hyatt building bout here? Should we hope to hear about the hope money or how much Carafesta cost the treasury? Yeah. Look, Prime Minister, we know that you know your administration has been extremely poor. They're trying to hold on to your coattail, a coattail that is now very frail. So bees go, please go, please go, please